those of you at home, what you need to do for me today is you'll need to write these down because you don't have a paper copy, but then just send it to me like you've been doing, which is just send it to me through Remind. It's easier. Some of you have been doing emails, that's fine, but the Remind is a little easier. So the very first questions on your quiz, which is coming up on the first half of the chapter, you'll be adding and subtracting polynomials. It's really easy. The only thing that happens every year is that some kids start to do the distributive property here, and they start multiplying. So one thing to keep in mind is you only distribute when you're multiplying. If you see this addition or subtraction right here, you do not do any sort of hopping things in or adding exponents. You simply just add stuff up. So that's the case where you go find what we call those like terms. Thank you, those of you in class here for being quiet. We go find those like terms and we put them together. And when it's addition, you don't even need to do anything. You can just say I have 4 of those and I'm adding 5 of those. I would say about half the kids in your class are going to call that 9x to the 6th on their quiz. I actually think this is almost the exact same one. I think I changed one number. But many kids are going to say it's 9x to the 6th. Remember, it's when you multiply that you add exponents. When you're just adding, you're just putting them together. 4 of those plus 5 of those is 9 of those. So it's easy, but what happens is a lot of kids start doing that distributive property from the multiplying. So I'm going to give you a little hint. You should not be distributing anything on the first. Ethan, you have to go out there.
Oh.
Just go out in the hall. Go. I'm recording. You need to go. And you're out of here. You're out. Go. Go. Thank you. I don't care. You're distracting. Yeah. Go. Go. Sit out there. All right. So back to the adding. So then when we have minus 3 of these and we add 4 of those, we end up 1 of those. All right, so make sure you're not messing with those exponents and make sure you're not distributing. Just simply add stuff up. So this is a 4, down 5, you're down 1. But then what's going to happen, Summer, is it's going to go to subtraction. And the subtraction goes very differently. So be careful. All right? Can you put your phone away, please? And we're doing these. All right? So for the subtraction, what you need to do is, this doesn't have anything in front of it, Wes, so you just ignore it. You don't need to do anything. But when it has this minus in front of it, you need to hop that in. So hop it in, hop it in, hop it in. So be careful with the subtraction. All right? Be careful with the subtraction. Awesome. Did you hop that negative in, hon? Awesome. So the first one, don't mess with it. All right? For the second one, remember, some teachers teach to add the opposite, some say to hop it in, and you guys all have like 3 different teachers, so whatever you're more comfortable with, but just remember, if you have 2 negatives, you make it a positive. So that one's going to stay negative, this one's going to stay negative, but the last one, when we have the double negative, will become a positive. And I'm just going to ask one of you, I'll just ask Kaylee, did your teacher teach you to add the opposite or hop it in? If you did that, you would still have the minus 5x cubed, the minus 4x squared, and the plus 5. So it kind of depends. There's 2 ways to teach that, but they both give you the same answer. So, but you're not done, because then we have these, and we're going down those. So we need to have 4 of those minus 5 of those. We are down 1 of those. How are we doing so far? Adding and subtracting is pretty easy, right, Nick? And then we have the minus 3x squared and the minus 4x squared. You can even use a calculator to do that for you. You get down 7x squared. And then you have the plus 4 and the plus 5, and you'd end up at plus 9, and you'd be totally done. So addition and subtraction combine like terms. Did you do that one right? Awesome. And once you, the danger is, who was I talking talking to yesterday, Summer, is you. I said, you know exactly what to do. Just not when to do it. So be careful, like that would be for you. You'll do it right if you know not to distribute. All right, now this is one where we distribute because now it's multiplication. So that's where you start hopping it in. And then, Nick, what's 3x times x?
3x plus 6.
Perfect. All right. And what's 3x times 6? 18x. And you're done. See, you know what to do. Just make sure you know that's when you do it. Same here. I'm 100% sure all of you know how to do this one. If you remember what to do. So that's what's got to be a trigger.
Once you foil.
Yes. And once you know that, Summer, you're going to do it right because you're good at foiling. Does that make sense, gorgeous? It's just when you look at it, you have to make sure you know, is this one where I hop this stuff in or is this one where I foil? This is a foil. Now she's doing it and it's probably right because we foiled a zillion times. Yep, hon? Oh, just wait. Thank you, though. So we hop that in and we get an x squared and then a plus 3x, right? And then do you guys remember when you're done? You guys are getting ahead of me. I'm feeling really good about this quiz, but I don't know about the people at home.
Wait,
So.
we have a quiz today?
Not today. I think it's either tomorrow or Monday. But it's a big point one. Like I think it's your first kind of big thing this chapter. So I want to make sure we start off on a good note. Is this one done? Like Summer said to foil it, and then we all started foiling it us in class. But is it quite done?
No.
No. When you foil, almost always the O and the I go together. Just make sure then you don't mess with those exponents. So how many of you wrote that down? X squared plus 8x plus 15. All right, now be careful because I know you know how to do this next one. Once you remember how to start it, you'll do it right. But I'm going to tell you what half the kids in your class are going to do incorrectly. I'll do it I always in calculus called green my naughty pen, so I say don't write it down. This is what kids are going to do. They're going to say it's x squared plus 16, and that's not right.
I know how to do it.
What do you do, hon?
You put 2 of those.
Yes.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
When you square something, it times itself. The minute she knows to do that, then this should ring a bell, right, Nyla? It's almost the same. What word should pop into your head? Oh, I need to foil. And then we know how to do that. It's just you have to remember this is the kind where I expand it. So let's do our first. Excellent, you guys. Let's do our firsts. Hopefully you guys at home are doing as well. Plus 4x. Plus 4x, right? Be careful. I think there were about 3 of you who always wanted to go multiply, 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 add. So make sure you don't end in an 8. Right? What should I end in? 16. And again, it's not quite done like we said last time on the last one. Almost always the OI goes together. So you have x squared plus 8x plus 16. All right. Now, this is the one that I think was the hardest for you guys. It was the hardest day, and it seemed to take the longest to get you to get it. So do you know what it means when it says to factor? Because if you don't, you're going to be tempted. Yeah, do you know us? What?
Isn't it where,
You divide.
Yes, exactly. It's the opposite of hopping stuff in. It's like, what can I pull out? So they each are going to give you something that you're going to pull out front of some parentheses. And I like to do the division bar, but you don't have to. If you don't like it, don't do it. But and whatever you put under here is what you're going to hop out. So what number am I going to pull out of each one?
3.
3. And can they each afford to donate some X's? How many?
1.
All right. Once we write that, Kaylee, once she finds that there's a 3 in each of these and an X, you put it out front. It's like you're unhopping it in. You're pulling it out. What would be a good way to remember, like what made you remember that that's what that word means? Because kids usually, there's a lot of leave it blank because they don't realize that this is what it means to do. Do you have a good, yeah, you finding a GCF? I wonder what, there's nothing about this word that's helpful. That's why I'm like, it's basically unfoiling, so, or unmultiplying, but I guess it's as good as it gets. So these are going to go, right? So I don't need any more 3s. But when one of these kills off one on the top, or I take one away, I'll have 2 X's left. All right. How about with this term, guys? When I take out a 3, in Somerset divide, so when I divide out a 3 and I divide out an X,
There's There's 4.
There's a 4
And there's 1 X.
and 1 X. I'm going to actually ask other people for a second. Gorgeous, on this last, I feel like you've got it. Gorgeous, on this last one, what's going to be left?
That would be 9.
Almost. 18 divided by 3. The X's will go completely.
Oh, 9x squared.
Nope.
What?
All I'm doing is, you were already done it on the back side, but we're just dividing a 3 out of 18, and we're stealing an X. Now, what if you're done with your quiz early, because you will be, Kaylee, because I think they're going to give you the whole hour, and it's fairly long, but you'll definitely finish early. How could you check this?
You can multiply.
Pop it in. Yeah, that'd be 3x cubed, check. Minus 12x squared, check. Plus 18, check. All right, now the big one on the back. This is worth the most points. It's from yesterday's lesson, and it was on your assignment yesterday, except there was an x plus 4 here. I'm going to tell you on your quiz, it's this one with an x plus something else right here. I just changed that number. I even left the minus 2's the same. So it's identical. It's going to say to find the area of the shaded region. So flip that over. How do you think I'm going to get in there and get the shaded region? What do you think I need to do? Yeah, do you know, Wes?
No. You're probably gonna have to.
And this is kind of like a rug on the floor, and they want you to find the area not covered by the rug.
Oh yeah, you'd have to subtract.
Yes, you're going to subtract the rug out. So you're going to get the area as if the rug's not there and cover the whole entire floor. And then you're going to take and subtract out the rug. So basically, it's a lot of work, but to get the area of a square, you do side times side. So this right here, go ahead and write that down, is going to get you the area of the entire floor. What word should pop into your head when you see that? Foil. Thank you. Awesome. I'm feeling good about this chapter. X times x is x squared. Then we'd have a 6x on the outside, a 6x on the inside, and don't end in a 12. Yeah, it's multiply, 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 and multiply. I still have a couple of you going multiply, 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 add. Is that done for the area of the floor? No, but it's so close. So I'd have the x squared plus 12x plus 36. If you wrote that down, you probably get 2 of the 6 points for this problem. Because you did that correctly, and that's how you get the area, and you FOIL it, but that's the floor. So now I'm going to find the area of the rug. How am I going to do that?
The same
Same way. Yeah. So exactly. You are on fire today. So I am going to do the exact same thing.
That's so easy.
Yeah, it's not hard. And it's easy because you guys have been kind of doing your homework and listening. I think if you continue that all year, it'll be good. So on my inside, I have a minus 2x and then another minus 2x. Be careful at the end. What's this one going to end in? Those of you at home, I hope you're getting this as well as the guys here. If not, you might want to come back. All right. So then I'm going to combine those. So let's go to the x squared. It's a long problem, but it's not like Nick just said. He said this is easy. Now, be careful, because Wes, you've told me what to do here. I've got the whole floor, and I've got the rug. What'd you say I need to do with the rug? Subtract it off. So we're going to go grab the whole floor. I'm going to write it right here. Now, here's the one thing that's going to get you. I'm going to let you write this down. Nick, can you watch? When you subtract off this rug, you have to put parentheses around it. Did you hear what I said? You're not subtracting just a piece of the rug. It's the whole entire rug. You have to lock and load it in parentheses or you're going to have some sign errors. So make sure that and I'm calling it the rug because that's kind of what it is. You're removing something on the floor from the floor. That's where you have to be careful because remember what we did on the subtraction. You either need to add the opposite if you like that, or you need to hop that negative in. So watch what happens. The floor gets to stay as the floor is, but the rug, I need to subtract the whole thing off. So watch your signs. What do you think the next term will be? It'll be a minus x squared and then a what, guys? Positive. Either because you add the opposite or you say, oh, 2 negatives make a positive. How about this last hop? What's it going to give you?
Negative.
Negative. And what always happens on these is the x squareds go away. So if yours doesn't on your area problem on the quiz, you did something wrong. Mine is going to be 12 of those plus 4 of those. Whoops, my highlighter didn't activate. 16 of those. And then I have the 36 going down 4, so plus 32. Lock and load it in a box. Okay? I'm going to give you one last one to do that I didn't put on here, but you're listening so well. I think theirs was a 2x, so I'm going to go with a 3x. I'm going to have you try this one. What word popped into your head? Foil. All right, anytime you got that 2 by 2, but something happens on this one. I didn't think we'd have time to hit every type on the quiz, so I chose.
I know what happened.
Good. I love it. And again, those of you at home, to get your points for today, you'll need to send me a picture of this one. It's a little longer today, but that's okay.
Can you help me go back to the last one? How's that 32?
Scroll up here.
Wait, is it? I thought it was 30. Because 36 minus 4.
It's 32.
6
Oh,
minus
I got that
4.
right.
You have to add the negative 4.
Would be a minus 4. Yep, or adding negative 4, whatever you like better. But 36 down 4 is 32. Did I give you enough time to foil this sucker?
Yes.
Be careful. Okay, I'm gonna wait then, because I want you to try this one. I actually think on your quiz it's a 2x and a. I hope I didn't write the exact problem. But you wouldn't remember by Monday anyway, would you? That's exactly what
Okay, I'll go.
All right, are we good? So what do you get when you multiply these first ones?
9.
Thank you. As Wilfred, I was going to hear 6s. 9x squared. Excellent. When you do your insides, your outsides, you get, again, you're multiplying 15 and an x and a y. On your insides, you're going to have a minus and then a 15 and a y and an x. And be careful with your lasts. You're multiplying them so they don't disappear. Yeah, it's a minus 25 y to the second. Be careful right now. You don't want to lose a point because there's something that happens here.
I know.
What is it, hon?
The 15's a crosswalk.
Yes. And you might say, well, this is yx. It doesn't matter. They're the same variables to the exact same powers, and they're opposites. So those cancel out. So the end one would be 9x squared minus 25y squared. Awesomeness. I'm feeling good about it. Don't forget it all over the weekend, right?
I might.
Wait,
Don't. You're on fire today.
Wait.
All right. So what I want you guys to do is just one thing. The worksheet that's due today, on the back of it, there's 2 of these. With the area ones, I want you to pick one of them and do it. Like, go do 23 if you didn't already. Yours is stuck. And yours is right, too, honey. I need a video for that one, but
How's that negative 15 y x?
because there's a minus right here. You have to take the sign with it, so it's actually a negative 5 times a.
There's a y right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna stop recording here. Yours is right, gorgeous on that one, so ready to turn it in.
Can you help me start this one?
Yes, I'm gonna stop this though, cause it's